correspond with you this way, and that will be best for everybody. Okay, very good. I see Alta already did it, but you can continue and write down your names and email so we can communicate. Okay, so our assignment for this meeting, if you recall, was that we suggested that you take a look at the material that we prepared for you in the Google Drive folder, which holds all the information, and that you can go over it and try to identify subjects of interest that may be relevant to your school and maybe to the water utility, so that we can work on them on STEM. So were you able to do it? I know this was vacation and there was Corona. By the way, how is the coronavirus situation now in Kosovo?
It started to get better.
It's better? It is getting better, or still very red?
No, compared to 2 months ago, it's better.
It's better, very good. Well, in Israel, you know, we have a mixed situation. On one hand, the disease spreads, and it spreads faster. So we have a lot of, you know, very critical situation, including 1,000, you know, severe people, you know, very sick. We had almost 3,500, over 3,500 deaths around the country, and it's going now. So we are under total lockout now. Absolute total lockout. So all the schools are studying from distance. But on the other hand, we have a very fast vaccination program. So we have, there were almost 300 or 400, over 400 people, 400,000 people already vaccinated, and it's going very quickly. More than 80% of the above 70 and, you know, close to it, of people over 60 and all the 60, all the teachers. And so vaccination is proceeding very quickly. The reason for that is very interesting. It's an interesting phenomena. And you know, we have a big chapter about Corona, which is also being translated to English. But the interesting thing is that we are getting a lot of vaccination from Pfizer and from Moderna, even more than what we ordered initially. And this is because we have an excellent public health arrangement in Israel. Israel really excels in that respect. It is very socialistic in nature. It, you know, comes back from the days where Israel was very, you know, a very social country. And so everybody has health security, but it's not the health security and the service and health, which is excellent, but it's not that. What makes it appealing for the vaccination for Pfizer and Moderna and others is that we have an excellent information system. So there is excellent tracking on everyone in the country, his health history and record and so forth. So that when they are vaccinating us and so forth, it is very easy to track. And so they can develop a lot of good statistics out of it. So in effect, we are able to vaccinate quickly, and we are able to report what the performance is and how it prevents the disease and so forth. So in effect, we are turning Israel into an experimental zone. And so it is very appealing for the company. So we are doing it very quickly. So we are lucky in that respect. And we are expecting that by March, we will all be vaccinated across the entire country, which, you know, is going to be nice. And so, so mixed situation, very severe in terms of the hospital now. We are in total lockout, hoping to be there only, you know, 2 weeks to slow it down a little bit. But then hoping the vaccination will take over, so we will be over the hump later. Well, we'll see what happens. So this is our story with Corona.
We are not as lucky as you are. We hope we will be vaccinated till 2022, maybe.
Really? Yeah. Well,
Yes.
well, I think that they will produce more and more as we proceed in time. But you have one advantage. When you get vaccinated, you will know what the vaccination does and what it doesn't do, what the difficulty. You know, a lot of people were concerned in Israel, but they are daring. Everybody is daring, and so everybody is trying to get vaccinated, even though there are all kinds of questions. Okay, so just to wrap this up, I just want you to know that we have a program on the coronavirus with many chapters that describe the virus, the bacteria, how it spreads and so forth, what is a mutation and what is vaccination and the immune system and so forth, including mathematical models and including the analysis of exponential functions and everything, because it's very relevant. And it is in Hebrew, of course, and it's exercised here. And we are now translating it in English, and it will also have some relationship to water and to sanitation, primarily to the question of wastewater, because in the sewage system there you can find traces of the antibodies. So they are trying to monitor the extent of the disease by monitoring the sewage system. So there's a very modern company that does it. It's called Candu, from Can Do, and it is supported by two universities, from Ben Gurion and from the Technion, and we are involved with both of them. So it's a very interesting aspect. And it has simulation, the program for children as well. So Excel models, and also for mathematical teachers and biology teachers. It would be very interesting. And it should be available on the network shortly because we are translating it. Okay, so enough already with what we can tell you. And we now would like to listen to what ideas that you may have in terms of what interests the schools. And so we can come up with some STEM program. We also, we do have schools in Israel waiting for the teaming, which we wanted to make sure that they are ready. And we are also worked out the schedule. So we are working towards the 22nd of March as a graduation, and we will make a virtual event. And in February, we will have the system available to receive some early products of the work that you may have, like a poster or a video clip or whatever that you will want to capture the work. So now let's move on to discuss water and see what ideas you have in terms of analysis and going forward with the students. So we are listening. Okay, so who will start? What school will start and will lead the way?
Okay, I can start from Utrecht.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna share screen with you. Can you allow me to share my screen, please?
Yes, of course. Just a minute.
Can you do that?
I'm working on that. Just a second. Okay, now you can share the screen.
Okay, thanks. It's not allowing me yet.
I
think you should make him host.
No, there is an option actually to allow everybody to share their screen. That's what I did.
Yes, there is.
But from some reason, can you try now? It's still not working?
No, now it's working. I tried, it's working. You can share screen now.
Okay. I think he was disconnected for a minute.
Oh,
But he would,
Okay.
oh, okay. You can try and share the screen now. It's working.
okay, thanks. Okay, can you see it?
Yes.
Yes, beautiful.
Okay, we have some ideas what we can do, but we also are waiting till the end of this week to know how we will work with our students. If they're gonna be at school full time or part time, or so we will decide the final ideas till the end of this week. So I'm gonna start.
Excellent, good.
We think that we should cover 4 main topics. It's water resources and its usage in Kosovo. Also natural waters and pollution, water treatment and wastewater purification, and promotion of water efficiency use and reducing pollution. So these are the
very good.
main
The
topics.
topic sounds interesting.
Okay. Partners that we can cooperate or we can consult with them. We think that it's Ministry of Environment and Spatial Planning, which can give us data and many other information that we're going to need for this project. Also,
Okay.
Hydrometeorological Institute of Kosovo, that they also have the equipment. We can visit them and see how we can cooperate with them. Also, Regional Water Company Pristina, they also provide the facilities of water treatment. So if it's possible, we can go and see also how water is purified here in region of Pristina, and also National Institute of Public Health of Kosovo. They are an external, or how I can tell, they control the water quality in Kosovo.
Of course, yes. A
area.
governmental organization.
Yeah. So also we can cooperate with them.
Very good. Do you have connection with the water utility?
Yeah.
Excellent. Very good.
Yeah. Planned outcome, we think that students should be able to do at the end of this project is to identify main natural water resources in Kosovo, rivers, lake, reservoirs, and amount of rain and snow during the year or 1 year. Also to compare amount of water used in Kosovo to regional countries, or maybe on the whole world, or we will see in the future. Analyze usage of water for drinking, hygiene, agriculture, and industry in our country. To compare quality of natural waters of different water resources. We have some equipment. We can measure the pH, salinity by electrical conducting, temperature. So maybe we will see if we can secure any other equipment. We can make other tests.
Yes, very good. Turbidity would be an interesting parameter, and some of the nitrates and chloride. But this is interesting. Very good. Okay.
We will see the potential. Maybe by the end of this week we will see what other tests we can do for them. Yeah. Okay. Also to explore main pollutants of water in Kosovo and the regional countries, and to compare is more polluted in Kosovo or in the region. Also to analyze the impact of polluted water in living organisms and their habitat. Also to explain water treatment process of drinking water. Explain wastewater and its role. I'll see about wastewater water, because we don't have in the region of Pristina this treatment, so maybe we will have to travel in another city, but we will see it. Also identify the amount of water lost from unwanted leaks. Implements water saving models as well as calculates the amount of water saved. So we think that each student has to make a plan how they can save water and to implement that, maybe during a month, and to calculate how much they saved and other things, and promotes water efficiency and its protection from pollution. So they will make a campaign about this topic.
Do you plan on having different students from, or groups of students examining each of these subjects that you raised? For example, water pollution or water saving, or everybody is exploring everything? Because there's a lot of things here.
Yeah. We thought that we should work in smaller groups because it's Corona, and each of the group will have 5 students, so they will cover a specific topic.
Okay.
Not all of that.
Okay.
Yes, but wait a minute. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I think that we decided to take the 8th and 9th grade students.
Good.
Number of all students will be 20 to 30 students, and
Good.
that I told you divided by groups, because we can't even in the visits they won't allow us to go with the whole bigger group. So that's why we decided to make many small groups. Teachers that will be involved in this: I am teacher of chemistry. There will be a physics teacher, geography, biology, arts, mathematics, and ICT. Activities that we are planning to doing for this project is to research on river, lakes, groundwater, and rainfall statistics in Kosovo, to visit the HAQ, Hydrometeorologic Institute, to see how they measure the amount of water, how they predict weather, and things that has to do with weathering. Meeting with representatives from Ministry of Environment to know more about the level of water pollution, laws related to the water protection from pollution, rate of water used by industry and agriculture in Kosovo. Also to visit the water treatment plant for the Pristina region. We have 3 water plants which purify, so one of them we're going to visit. Construction of drinking water purification model. We think to make in a lab, in a small part of it, if it's possible, to make a small model of purification of water, especially in the filtering of water, airing it, pumping it with physics tools. So if we can achieve, I think it will be good. Measurement of pH and electrical conductivity of water of various resources, but we'll see if we can add other parameters. Meeting also with the regional water of Pristina to see the losses in leaking in Kosovo. Also to prepare a plan for saving water at school and at home. Prepare information sessions for students of other classes, posters, brochures, and if it's possible, any other activity. So this is it. Thank you.
Okay, well, you are only missing one point. You know, at the last slide, you should show the graduation event where everybody gets a PhD. Because this is really very, very big and very wide and very deep and well thought out. So if the students do this, wonderful. This is going to be very impressive. So let me give you a little feedback. Of course, this is very thorough and it represents your understanding of the entire thing and your desire to do excellent work. And I think you should be commended with it. It is very ambitious, very ambitious. So you can easily tame this down, namely You don't need, just on the first year that you come on board, try to do everything and conquer the world. You certainly are excellent. There's no question about that. And you have excellent connection, and this is wonderful. But remember, these are children, 8th or 9th grade. It's only, 6 years ago that they learned to read and write. So they are young. So you want to expose them to the problem, and you want to make a presentation of the entire picture and take them, of course, to see the water utility and so forth. But don't expect them to be able to research all the areas. You can concentrate on 1 or 2 areas, like water quality and pollution is one main subject. Maybe the water supply is another, some resources. So, because you see, what happens is the following. If the children are excited and you have 30 students and everyone picks a subject, now the teachers have to support them on 30 different subjects, and building a model to purify water as compared to treating wastewater, as compared to analyzing the pollution in the lake and what impact it has on life and so forth. These are different subjects, and it requires a lot of attention. So it will not be a problem if you make what you presented as a program and then concentrate on 3, 4, 5 subjects and not try to do the whole thing. It will make your life easier, and you will be able to concentrate. And also you will save something for next year, because otherwise, you're finished with that, and next year we will worry about the air, and we will be done with the environment in 2 years. And what do we do next? So this is wonderful. I think, this is great. And so now we can go over the list and look at some subject and give you some ideas as to how to implement it. So let's take, for instance, the first subject of water supply, the water resources and the supply. So yes, to review all the sources of water, it would be interesting. And then the question is, how do they get? How do the water get to the home? How is it distributed? So what is the distribution system? And then, what does it take to pump water everywhere? Because there's a question of energy and pumps. And so you can do some experimentation and analyze the amount of energy and how much electricity and cost, is associated with distributing water. Is the electricity always available? Or if there are interruptions, then you probably store the water in reservoirs with gravitation, so that you can pump it into the houses. What is the pressure used? Is it high pressure? Do you have high rising building or only low building? So what is the pressure? And associated with it is the question of the leaks, which you can simulate. So that would be one subject. When you talk about water supply, another thing that relates to it is, how do you charge? How do you invoice? How do you collect money? What do people pay for? Is it pay for? Do you meter the water? Is it per apartment or building or the city? How is the finances going? Who dictates the rate, the tariff, and so forth? This is all part of the supply. And the tariff, the money that goes into it, what does it pay for? The water itself, or is it the infrastructure and so forth? So this is a question on the supply of water, and very much connected with it are the subject of water quality, which, as you said, you can really measure. You can see if there are reports, if the information is readily available. What does the utility provide? Is it free information on the internet, or do you have to ask for it? Do you really get it? And can you verify it? And so that would provide you an excellent one aspect on the water supply. If you want to be futuristic, you can also look at how does this work in terms of trend? What was the supply in the past? How much is it now? What is it going to be in the future? And this is as compared to the size of the population. Is the population growing? Are you consuming more water? Are you likely to have a shortage in the future? Or are you okay and this is sustainable? So this is like one major important area. So I'm just mentioning this because there are a lot of research that you can do there, including simulation with a little pump, as I showed you, very easy to do. So you can examine the electricity that it takes to pump water. And so you can focus on that, on the supply. And that could be a research subject for, maybe 10 students. Some look at the resources, where do the water come from? Some look at how it is distributed. Others look at how it is metered and serviced and paid for. And so now you have a whole aspect of the water supply. And then you can take another subject, like you suggested, say, of the impact with the environment and the purification, or rather the impurity and the pollution that you have, or the subject of wastewater treatment. See, wastewater treatment is a completely different subject. In other words, when you take wastewater and you collect it, there is, as you can see in the presentation that we proposed in the folder that we provided you, it's a whole technology. And to understand it, you can go through it and look at what do you do in Kosovo in terms of treating wastewater. Is it treated to the point that you can reuse the water? And what are the technologies that are being used? And if you have such a system, then the question is, what do you do with this water? Do you use it for agriculture, for irrigation, or do you just use it and turn it back into the nature because you have enough water? So I think this is very interesting. And the only thing I would say is try to focus and narrow it down. Okay, do we have more presentation to go over, or this covers the entire group?
No, this is the entire group for the school Millennium Trade.
Very good. Okay, good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, but we didn't have a very clearly idea for what we are going to do, because when I asked you, you said that you will send us the material. So the material wasn't as very good. So I saw Shpetim's presentation, and now we have clearly what we had to do. But I'm going to show you our presentation. We talk about for water in general in our country, not for the things we are going to do with students for saving water.
Yelperina, just before you start, you didn't get the materials, or you didn't get the mail? What was the?
Yeah, no, I got the mail, but the material, the main things what we have to do, because from the last meeting I was on my way home, and I didn't hear you too much what we had to do.
Okay, but you have it now, so you have access to the material now, and you know what to do.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so let's listen to what you have to show us.
Do you see our material?
Yes, we can see.
Because we talked about the water in Kosovo.
Yes.
In general.
Very good.
But I think the main thing to mention here is about our school, that our school has something. So I'm going to read the slides. Saving and keeping and monitoring quality of water resources is one of the greatest deficiencies of our society. Industrial development, urbanism, agriculture are the main reasons of water contamination, despite a continuous commitment using water without saving and damaged riverbeds. It still is the main form of degradation of our water resources. And so in our school, there are solar panels that heat the water, which we use it in school's canteen or cafeteria. Then from the rainfalls, we use that water for the toilets, for school toilets. In the roof of our school, there is soil brought from Rome. That kind of soil is known for its aquifer or water keep. I don't know the exactly word to call that.
Yes, okay.
That soil, we use it for plants. During a period at school, we plant onions, peppers, strawberries, etc. Those vegetables are planted and eaten by students of our school. That's the main characteristic, I think, for our school for saving water and using that.
Okay. This is a good subject that you can research if you have something like this on the roofs. This can be the subject of your research.
Yeah, I know now what we had to do, but before we didn't.
Very good. Okay.
And so on. I don't think it's necessary to read the slides because.
Right. Well, remember, just a comment on the slides. This is, you want to try and make the slides less heavy with text.
Yes,
so
I know.
No,
I know. I know now what I have to do.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so this is the hydrographical data that's really very important. Most importantly, the amount of water and the location, the altitude, and this is very important, the amount of water.
We talked about water in general.
Yes, okay, very good. How many millimeters of water of rainfall do you get? Most of the water come from rainfall?
I don't know exactly, maybe 3,000 liter or 4,000 liters.
Okay, no, it doesn't measure in liters because this is per area.
We have those information from our school's keeper, so we don't know exactly.
Very good. Okay, but a lot per capita, I can see the amount of water that you get per capita is tremendous.
I don't.
Very good. Okay. Now, hold on a minute. Go back for a minute. The idea is, the question is, what happens with this water after it is treated? So it is treated and then returned to nature, or being reused, and so forth. And that would be an interesting question, conceptually, to look at the footprint. Okay, very good. So, so that the idea is the following. If you provide the children just with facts like this, they will never remember it. They will remember it maybe for one lesson, and it's not an experience for them. You want to reduce it to have less, but to make sure that the children understand the concept. So how much water comes in, how much comes out in the waste, and what it is treated, and what is happening with it, and much less detailed information, but so that they will understand the essentials. This is somewhat too detailed and too many words for them to understand, to really be able to absorb. But okay, but at least you have the data. This is fascinating. Okay.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, so let's look at this. This is important. The main problems that you have. All right, so there's lack of policy and strategy. Okay. Now, this is very interesting. This is very different in Israel. So if you cite this, it would be interesting to compare, because in Israel, there is a law In fact, it was the first law that was established in the country, and so it's very different. And it is very helpful because there is a law in Israel. All the rest and the infrastructure and the investment and everything we do is based on the law. And the first thing that the law says is that the water belongs to the people. So you are right. This is a lack of policies and strategy, and most importantly, the lack of the legal situation, the law. Okay. Yes, okay. Harmonizing with EU, of course, is a challenge for everybody in the EU, especially for Kosovo, we understand. So there is lack of authorities. Okay, this will also be very interesting to compare with Israel, because we have a good system now and a national system, but it was also under the politics and was removed from politics only 15 years ago. So that we went under a change as well. So you're right, this is a very important item. The regulation, the policies, and the national establishment is very, very important. So again, it goes to the role of the government. Yes, very, very important. What WC is the water utilities?
WC is for toilets. I can't remember.
Probably the utilities. You see, just to compare, in Israel, there are a few elements. There's the overall country body, like a board, and there's the water authority, and then there is a water company nationwide that provides the water to the cities, and then there is a water utility for every city. So there's hierarchy, and the structure is very well and established, so very important. And cross-border, that's exactly the point. So yes, see, the thing is this list is very good and it's correct, but the problem is when you present it to children, you may want to research it so that they understand each and every line and how it has an impact. Because if you read this to children, they will not understand it. But you can work on that and have the children research. So like take this slide, which is an excellent slide.
We didn't make the slides simple for the children. We made them for grown-up people. We made in general, but when we made for children, we also put them cartoons there and pictures to make more attractive for them.
Exactly. So for instance, this slide in itself, you can break it down to a couple of slides, like key water challenges, and divide the class into a group, and a few groups look at the regulation and policies, another look at the undeveloped rural areas and so forth, divide it into 3-4 groups, and let them research just the problems. That in itself is very impressive. If they will be able to research the problem and understand the problems, and maybe demonstrate one or two of the problems, either with a story about regulation or with an experiment about the lack of or protection of water, with how you can contaminate water, that in itself will be a good product. So try to take one aspect of the presentation, simplify it, and have the children study this in an interactive manner so that they are active. If you take this slide, make it into simple terms and break it into 3-4 groups and let them research the subject, you will find that they will find a lot of interesting stuff. Are the children able to read and write in English freely?
Yes.
Excellent.
Some of them.
Very good, because
Some of them.
I'm sure they can find content in English there, if it relates to Kosovo, and if not, then to the environment in general. And some of it they can find in what we do, and they can compare. They can look at that, and understand the problem, and do a comparison of how that looks with Israel. And then the school that you will work with can give you, feedback on that, on how these problems look in Israel, and that could form a nice base for the twinning. So it's an excellent slide. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so these are the solutions.
Mhm.
Yes, okay. Yes, yes. The one thing that is missing in this slide, of course, is how much money it will require, because to do all of those things and to specifically protect the surface and groundwater, and to actually not just approve a strategic plan, but to actually implement it, to do the improvement of water supply to the citizens and so forth. This slide, in order to be implemented, it probably requires a couple of $1 billion. So this is an area that you want to try to have at least an assessment, so the children understand that it is not enough to be able to write out the slogans and the bullets of what needs to be done, but in practice, you need to provide means for it, namely mostly money, and what is their role in having to do it. Yeah, so this is important. Yeah, go ahead.
Is the end?
Okay, very good.
Thank you very much.
So I think you have a very good and basic understanding of the environment, and from that you can work. And again, as I said before, if you just manage to analyze in detail one part of this presentation, you have done a lot. This is very, very impressive, considering the fact that we're just starting and we just pulled your attention, and you didn't even have a chance to really study all the materials that you provide. It is very, very broad, and you can certainly give the children the general education, but then narrow it down, and we can then work with you if you want to do some experiment, or you want to allow an analysis of one chapter. It is very important that on the subject that you pick, again, you take all the teachers in your school and have them take an active part, like we saw before. We have, mathematics, biology, physics, and everything, and so forth. Look in your school as well, and make sure that all the teachers have a role. And that would be very interesting, because you've listed the items. It is very important that it will be interesting for the teacher, and that the teacher will see how it can benefit his education work with the class. And so they will find different emphasis in the work, and that is okay, because we really want to also allow them to teach mathematics and physics, and so they will find a connection. There we can be very helpful. In other words, if you have a teacher, say for instance in physics, and he looks at the list and he wants to say, okay, what can I do to demonstrate, then we can help you with that, and we can do this one-on-one. You have the email from Ram, and you can send us an email. We have an English teacher, and what can he do? Of course, they can translate it to English and can translate from the school. But also on physics and biology and mathematics, we can help you specifically to find an interesting subject for each and every one of you. And so keep that in mind. We are here to help you on that.
Yeah, we have teachers here. We have biology teacher, geography teacher in our team, PE teacher, physics teacher, English teacher.
Excellent. So
also the principal.
I beg your pardon?
Also the principal.
Oh, and also the principal. Beautiful. Okay. So if you can find your ways and what everyone will do, that's beautiful. If you need help on that, let us know. For instance, for the principal, it's very interesting. All this business of regulation and the rule and the law and how you structure the whole thing on a nationwide basis, you can look at a school as a small model. How do you manage a school? A school with students, with teachers, with parents, Ministry of Education, relation between them, an agenda, a curricula that you have to meet. all of a sudden you have a constraint of Corona. So you can look at the school as a microcosmos and compare it to how do you manage a country on the water. So the people understand, the students understand that the question of management of the water is a real practical question. How do you allocate the water? How do you find budget to treat the water? So you can use an example, even, you know, the water supply system in the school. How much water does the school use? Where does this wastewater go? How much does the school have to pay for it? Is there enough leak? Is there prevention of leakage? What does the water system look in the school? For instance, in Israel, we had a class that studied the aerator, you know, those devices that reduce the amount of water that come out of the tap. It puts air instead of water in it. Aerator, it is called, and it reduces the amount of water used out of the tap. It can save up to 40%. Very easy to experiment to see how it saves. You just take it off or on, and then you see how much water comes out of the tap. So after we did it in a farm called Tamra up in the Galilee, in our village, the students were so excited that they went to the schoolmaster and they said, why don't we put such aerators all over the taps in the school? And that's what they did. So this is just on the water supply aspect. They did a very thorough research. We have a study like this and a presentation that we can share with you. It is in Hebrew, but we can translate it. It is easy. And you can do an examination of how effective this is. And so you can apply that as well. So it's a small experiment, but it shows the children how you can save water, what action you need to take, and then someone has to pay for it. Who pays for it? Who has an interest that you will save water? So it's a little microcosmos view of the whole thing. So what I'm saying is that experimenting with water in school is a good area to start. And if you can't do it this year, so the teacher can come and do the experiment, take a picture and show it to the children on YouTube, and that is okay. Excellent, very good. Okay, anything more we have to see or discuss?
In fact, I just wanted to share that something like 5 years ago in our school, we made a similar project, but the flushing toilets, you know, with water, we made them to be filled with less water. So we made it, I think, during one week, not more. So we measured. I don't have that data, but we compared them for only 1 week, I think.
Yes, okay.
But we made it 5 years ago, I think.
That's an
Very
interesting
nice.
idea.
So you have an idea of the amount of water that you are consuming?
No, the flushing toilets, they are filled with 15 liters of water.
Mm-hmm.
So we modified them with styrofoam, you know, so they could fill only 10 liters.
So you reduce the amount of water after each flash? Each flash of water?
No, we watched then how much in our school. It was implemented just in school, but it was just for 1 week because we work with project-based learning for 1 week. And I think not even a week, it was 4 days from the day till day 4. But we had some data, but I couldn't find them.
Okay. So the idea is that you have a container of water that you use for the toilet mostly, and you measure how much you had in the beginning and after 4 days, so you know how much water you use with the measure or without the leakage and without the water saving measure.
Yeah, we took the bills for 1 month. We divided it for how much it was just an average, not an exact form. So if we can do the same, then we can calculate the exact data.
This is excellent. You see, this, for instance, is very practical. They look at the numbers and then they look at the bill, but also it's a base for mathematics because this is meter square, meter cube, and all of a sudden the question of volume and mass now is not theoretical, it is very practical. So it's a good window for the mathematics. What is the size of the reservoir? You see elevation in meters, how much water is there, and so forth. And so this could be a very good access to volume, to computation of volume and mass. Very good. I can see that your bandwidth is limited, but okay. I think it's a very good idea. We have a program like this on water saving based on rainwater in Israel. So it's a rainwater collection, and then the water is used for toilet. So yes, the children work with the numbers. And for instance, when there's rainfall and there's a couple of millimeters of rainfall, like 10 or 10 millimeters or 20 millimeters of rainfall overnight. And then they calculate based on the area of the roof, how much water was accumulated, and they compare it to what they actually have in a reservoir. So it's an excellent subject. Beautiful, very good. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about schedule. We plan to have a virtual graduation event on the 22nd of March. And in that, we will have virtual booths like this so that you can present your work on the internet using YouTube or using Facebook, whatever would be convenient for you. And people will come to visit the booths, and you will be able to visit other people's booths. So there'll be a show like this. And in one time, everybody can come in and look at the works. And also, you will have people, the teacher and the students, available through WhatsApp or through a communication, maybe through Zoom, available to respond to visitors in the website. So when visitors come, Rotarians or people from the water utility or people from Israeli or partners and so forth will come to the booth. They may want to ask you a question or say something about the presentation. And so they will chat with you or speak with you on the cell phone with the number that's on the screen. And the children will have an opportunity to respond, the children and the teachers. So it will be an interactive presentation. So we just want you to know that in the beginning of February, middle of February, we will start to upload experimental presentations to the website. It doesn't have to be your final work because this can come, only in the beginning of March. But you will have an opportunity to upload a demonstration, YouTube or poster or presentation, and try the system out and see how it works. We are daring here. We are developing the system now. It is not ready yet, but this is our plan. So you should think in terms of having something ready, around February, and we will help you out to prepare and so on. Now, the reason I say that is that you want to keep that time schedule in mind, again, so that you don't start on a very, very big program. Then focus on a portion of the program that you've outlined so that you manage to get something done in time on provisioning, on regulation, on pollution, but you don't have to cover all the world, as I said, because in practice, you have 1 month to work before you start to do the reporting. That's very important to keep in mind. Beautiful. Excellent. If there are no more questions, we can wrap it up and we will have another meeting. What time do you want us to meet again now and to see how progress you made? We can meet in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I don't want to make this a burden for you, but you may need the support. Of course, you can approach us and write to RAM in the middle, but we will be available. Do you want to make it in 2 weeks' time or maybe 3 weeks' time? What do you think?
If I can speak, I guess the 3 weeks time would be kind of optimal because we will not start lessons with students until the 18th. So this week, during this week, we cannot work with the students because I guess we have to meet them first and explain about the whole project. The work with them should start somewhere next week, and maybe the first results would be best to be seen in about a 2 weeks time work with them.
Okay, very good.
Do the others
so
agree?
3 weeks time. So we meet again in 3 weeks time.
I guess so. I guess that
okay,
would be
very
better.
good. Maybe the first week of February or the last week of January, we will see. Okay, we will suggest a date based on that. I think you are right. We shouldn't rush too much, give ourselves a little opportunity to succeed here. Excellent, very good. I think you are doing very well considering the fact that you just started just before the vacation. I'm very glad we decided to have the meeting before the vacation. It was very smart because you had an opportunity to think about it. And obviously you did very well. And now we are underway and it's excellent. Very good. Very, very good. So we have this meeting recorded. We will send you a link to the recording so you can refer to it. And we will, next time we meet, of course, we will have already a twinning school ready to cooperate with you.
I would ask if you could please send me the, I typed my email address in the chat box, and you could please send me the presentations that you showed us. It would be great. If you want to make any changes based on what Amnon suggested and the comments we had for you, that's great. You can do that before you send it to me, but it's important for us to have something that we can keep track on your projects for both schools. So if you want to sharpen your ideas after what you heard from us, that could be great. So on the next meeting, we can start from a more advanced point, ready for running the project themselves.
Okay, I'm gonna send you this one. And as I told you before, at the end of the week, when we know how we will start working with students, we will know what activities we can do. So
I suggest, Shpetim, I suggest that you wait until you know exactly what's going on with the students. You wrap it up, you decide what exactly you want to do, and then you send it to me modified according to what you are about to do. Does that sound okay to you?
Yeah, that's better.
And the same same goes also for the second school. That could be great.
Ram, I would suggest the following. Since there is such a nice work in terms of what they did in terms of an overview, you can send us the presentation as it is, and it just serves us as a basis. And of course, it is not a commitment to do anything specific. Then you can revise it with the students in terms of what happens. But it's a nice first cut of what you had in mind, and it's also worth. Now, another thing that's very important. When you start to work with these children, you may want to take a lot of pictures, even videos and so forth, because what happens is you do a lot of work. And remember, we're not designing water system, we're doing education. And when you get to the end of it, you have a product. Sometimes it's better, sometimes less, that's not that important. But the children learned something. They had a wonderful experience. So you want to have a recording of the process of the first lesson, of their response, of a visit to utility, measurement of water quality in the lake, and what have you. So take a lot of pictures and build a little warehouse, on Google Drive, or send us the pictures. Just make sure you take a lot of pictures, because when you are finished and you want to make a presentation, the presentation is not just the end product of water challenges in Kosovo, for instance, which is academically important, but also you want to reflect the process of how the children started, how they related to it, and then when they interact with this school in Israel and so on. So taking pictures along the way is very important. So don't forget it. Everybody has a cell phone, you have the computers, take pictures and store it and make sure you don't lose it. Okay, very good. All right, guys, I think you're doing wonderfully. We spent an hour together. It was very, very effective. And we will see you in 3 weeks' time.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Have a great
Thank
time.
you. Bye bye.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.